This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Happy Thanksgiving. It is Follow the Money here on VSiN. Matt Brown and Jeff Schwartz in for Mitch and Paul. Don't worry, they'll be back tomorrow. And we appreciate all you guys listening on Sirius Channel 158 and the new ears out there on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Of course, you can always catch us over on Sirius Channel 158 and our very own VSiN Watch app. Jeff, how you doing, man? Happy Thanksgiving to you as well.
Happy Thanksgiving to you and to our listeners. My turkey's been fried. My sides have been had. I'm here to talk some ball with you next 3 hours, man. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I am yet to do the Thanksgiving thing. A little bit later, once we get off air, I will head over there and take in what I hope to be at least above mediocre food. The Thanksgiving, it's a whole different conversation. Thanksgiving food, a lot of time, turkey dry, all the things. You know how it goes. But hopefully, do you do what is there's a secret I'm missing or something?
I fry my turkey, buddy. I fry the turkey.
See, when I was back in Louisiana, I Cajun fried the turkey, and then yes, it was amazing. I moved out to the West Coast. That's not a thing.
As someone from the West Coast, now in the South, you are correct. A turkey baked can be pretty dry and not very appetizing. A turkey fried in peanut oil with Creole butter injection into the bird with a skin that's been salted overnight in the fridge, it can be good as well. I make some extra legs and wings. We had stuffing and mashed potatoes and green bean casserole and desserts. And my brother's in town, so he helped do some of this while my wife made mac and cheese. So it's a whole ordeal. I've had my food now. Now it's time to talk these games and wagers we have, and even college basketball's on today. There's a college game tonight as well, so a lot to get to.
31-21 currently, 3:15 left in the fourth quarter. The Green Bay Packers have a 10-point lead over the home Detroit Lions. The big story in this one, though, Jeff, is Amon-Ra St. Brown goes down, and he goes down early in this game and unable to come back, calling it an ankle injury right now. It got rolled up on, and listen, they can get by in this one, possibly losing it, but they can certainly not get by without Amon-Ra St. Brown for the rest of the season. So all eyes will be on that injury report, and as we get further news on him, because I'm pretty sure your handicap of this Lions team changes drastically whether they have Amon-Ra St. Brown out there or not.
It does, but really, for the best teams, though, it shouldn't matter with one wide receiver out when you have Jameson Williams. But it's because I think we don't really trust Jared Goff exactly, right? And so with all the weapons are there, Jared Goff is much better. We're seeing today when he has Jameson Williams just to throw to, it's not as clean, right? And look, the way the Lions like to be aggressive and go for it on fourth down, St. Brown's that perfect target, right? In middle of the field presence, his route running. So it changes your game plan, I would say, when he's out. Most good teams would be able to figure it out for a little bit right now. If he's out for the rest of the season, we don't know that, all speculation. That would be very bad. But if for a couple of weeks, this Lions team is talented enough with Jahmyr Gibbs and the running game and the offensive line and Goff and the other wide receivers to make it happen for a while, that should not be excuse for them to lose this game. They've made some decision on fourth down that I never really hate fourth down decisions going for it. I sometimes don't like the play call. The play calls weren't great so far today. No Laporta as well for the Lions, which is an issue. So when you start losing guys like that, it does become a concern, but that's not why they're losing today. They can't stop Jordan Love today.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, in the world of, hey, it's not over yet, we did get a field goal here from the Lions. So it is a 7-point game, 2:59 left in the fourth right now. So we do just have the one touchdown margin right now in the fourth quarter. If the defense can get some sort of stop here, we could have an interesting drive coming from Jared Goff and company. He is 20 of 26 on the day, 256 and 2 touchdowns. No interceptions. He's been sacked 3 times. Jahmyr Gibbs, 20 carries just for 68 yards. So not quite the explosion we've gotten out of Jahmyr Gibbs here lately, only 3.4 per carry. But as you said, Jordan Love has looked really, really good. And honestly, the efficiency numbers aren't there just like they are with Goff, Jeff, but 16 of 27 for 210. That being said, it's like he's just made the throws he's had to. Like the throws, the third down throws, the fourth down throws, the to-go throws. Like he's just made the ones he had to today.
He has. And these teams, I think this is going to be a theme throughout today. And I mean, the rest of the year, it feels like the NFL, where I just don't know which team is showing up every week. Like this Packers offense has looked so much better than most of the last 8 weeks. There are some games when it has looked this way, but for the most part, it has not looked this complete. Jordan Love has not thrown the ball this well in most of their games. And is this what they're going to be from now on? Is Watson catch the ball? Wicks catching the ball? Everyone's catching the ball. They're making plays. They're running the football. They're protecting Jordan Love. Is this what they're going to be the rest of the season? If they are, I'm in. But they haven't done this. The Lions, right? Every other week feels like they're good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. Today it feels like they're more on the bad side, which will be 2 weeks in a row now. A theme for me this year, I'm sure you feel the same way. Like, what are these teams each week? We don't have a lot of teams right now that I feel very comfortable, good or bad. I know the Raiders are bad. Like, I know that. I know Tennessee's probably not going to win. They might cover this week. But the rest of these good teams, man, I don't know what team I'm getting each week, and it's really hard to figure that out and hard to make picks on these games because we don't know what team we're getting.
This did go off at 3 in favor of the Lions. Of course, we're already over the total with 55 points already on the board here in this one. Jeff, I'm going to get as an unbiased opinion from you as I can on this next game, considering one of these teams did give you a multi-million-dollar contract in your career. But the Kansas City Chiefs are on the road at the Dallas Cowboys. This is currently 3.5 in favor of the Chiefs on the road. 53.5 is the prevailing total out there. We do have 53 behind me here at Circa with this one. Now, I think whenever we look at the injury report, not something that we're really worried about too much here in this one. The Chiefs are missing their right guard in Trey Smith, and Noah Gray as a backup tight end is out. Pacheco is going to be back for this one for them, and Tyler Guyton is out, left tackle for the Cowboys. But that's the only starter out for the Cowboys, and the only 2 starters out for the Chiefs, of course, in Trey Smith and Wallace. What do you think about this Chiefs team heading into Dallas that is starting to play a little bit better defense?
Chiefs are fascinating this year. Analytically, really good, right? Top DVOA team, one of the top EPA teams. The best offense in the NFL at converting first downs on drives. They just get a lot of first downs. They spent 5 weeks scoring 28 points plus, and yet they're 6-5. And their offensive personnel has not been better in years. They have a good offensive line. Trey Smith is out, obviously, but Josh Simmons has done a great job. Juwan Taylor, I think, always gets racked because he gets penalties, but he's been a good player, continues to play well. And they got Worthy healthy, and they got Rice back, and they got Hollywood Brown, and Kelsey looks a little rejuvenated. He's not the workhorse anymore. Kareem Hunt looks like he has like a burst now of energy that he hasn't had in years. Like, the offense should be fine. Defensively, they still can't rush the passer unless Chris Jones does some good things. They can stop the run still, and they play good in the back end. This is a team that feels like they should be 8-3, but they're 6-5 because they don't win the big moments anymore. For years, Matt, what they did best, but in our team, is they won the big moments in every game. And sometimes winning the big moment meant the other team screwed up. Like, the pressure was on the other team to make a play, and they screwed up. This year, it hasn't happened till last week. Last week was the first time it happened all season against a good team where you force 4 3-and-outs in a row. You're down 29. You fight your way back into the game and claw and win in overtime. So if they take that feeling at the end of last game and roll it into this game, I like their chances today to cover this game.
Yeah, it's very interesting, the handicap for me, because I'm just not quite sure what this defense for the Cowboys is going to look like, because we get the trade deadline and then they go on by, then they come out and then it's against the Raiders. And so you kind of brush that off because it's the Raiders. And then you see the first half last week where 21 points put up on Philly. And I understand one of those was short field and all of that. And then they come in and shut them out in the second half. And you start to look in, I guess you acquire Quinnen Williams, you acquire Logan Wilson, you get Demarion Overshown back, Donovan Wilson back, Kalen Carson didn't make his season debut till late October. They took their 3rd-round rookie that didn't get back until the Raiders game. So there's a lot of sample size of this Dallas defense where a lot of the players and obviously the 2 acquisitions aren't out there. From what you've seen, I know it's super small sample size. Do you think they have taken enough of a step forward to be considered a real contender here? Because I think we were kind of putting them to the side. Yeah, we love the offense, but the defense was so bad that we couldn't really take them seriously. The
defense has gotten better. A couple things, right? One, when you have a new coach and a new staff, sometimes it takes 8 to 12 weeks to figure it out. I think the Philly on defense last year was a great example. It took 8 to 12 weeks, to figure out the defense. It just takes time. You mentioned the return of Overshone, the Williams adding to the roster. Those are all important, right? That helps your overall depth of your team and making plays. And so, yes, I think it's better. The problem with the Cowboys, and this is one thing that frustrates me about the way we talk about the NFL, we talk about games only mattering this time of the season. And yes, when you're trying to forecast success in the postseason, I'd argue that the games now matter a lot, but you can only get to the postseason if you win games to start the season too. The Cowboys are in such a hole right now in the NFC, and with their schedule with the Chiefs and Lions coming up, they have to win one or two of those games, maybe two, and then win out to get in the playoffs. So they might be playing better. It might be looking good. It might feel much better if you're a Cowboys fan, but you missed an opportunity early in the season to win some of those games that cost you an opportunity to maybe be in the postseason.
We've gotten to the 2-minute warning. 31-24, Green Bay will face a 3rd and 3. A pretty critical play right here for this Detroit Lions defense if they're going to have any chance to get in this thing. So again, 31-24 at the 2-minute warning. Green Bay facing a 3rd and 3. Guys, if you have not become a VSiN Pro subscriber, there is no better time than to do it right now. Our Black Friday special is live for $60. Every single thing that we do over at VSiN.com from now until May the 1st. That gives you all of our best bets. Of course, we're breaking down games across the entire sports landscape every single day over there on the site. We have the prop projections up. We have the betting splits page. We have the betting guides for every single one of the tentpole sporting events that is coming out. And you get the live video feed, every single thing that we do over at VSiN. $60 now until May the 1st. VSiN.com/subscribe. VSIN.com/subscribe.
If you're serious about football betting, VSiN's got your weekend game plan. Fridays at 7 p.m., it's the Circa Friday Football Invitational. Saturday morning, VSiN's college football tailgate show at 9 a.m., breaking down matchups, props, and big-time bets. Later that night, join the football contest show as the sharpest betting minds give you their picks for Sunday's game. And Sunday at 9 a.m., lock in with Mitch and Paulie on VSiN's Pro Football Tailgate Show. Your final stop before kickoff. Check out the full lineup at VSiN.com and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, a network of sports betting analysts, writers, hosts, and handicappers, all here to help you become a more confident bettor. We broadcast live every day from Las Vegas, the sports betting capital of the world, and from studios across the country, giving you insight from every angle of the action. Take VSiN with you wherever you go with the VSiN Watch app, or catch us on streaming platforms and regional sports networks. You can also listen live on SiriusXM channel 158 and on radio stations nationwide. Check out VSiN.com as well for betting tools, exclusive betting splits, AI-powered player prop projections from Opta, pro picks for every game, plus in-depth betting guides and articles built to give you an edge. From sharp betting analysis and daily best bets to insider interviews and expert breakdowns, VSiN is your trusted source for everything happening in the world of sports betting. See everything we have to offer at VSiN.com and become part of the Sports Betting Network.
Hi, everybody. Jensen Lewis here, co-host of VSiN by the Books. Tune in tomorrow as Mark Malusis and I will react to everything that happened on Turkey Day and then preview the weekend of Black Friday football, as well as a loaded slate in college and the NFL all weekend long. As always, joined by a stacked guest list that features Warren Sharp, Lou Finnecarroll, Nick Whalen, and Thomas Gable. It's VSiN by the Books, a Friday edition, 7 to 10 a.m. Eastern on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
It is Follow the Money here on Thanksgiving. Matt Brown and Jeff Schwartz in for Mitch and Paul. It is 4th and 3 for the Green Bay Packers. 1:55 left in the fourth quarter. They lead by 7 points. Currently, the offense is still out on the field. Now, Jeff, we know this could be just to try to draw them off. This could be, see what's going on out there. But as of right now, the offense is out on the field.
I'm going to be called dumb, I know, by someone who's like, the analytics said you should pass the ball there, but why don't you just run the ball on third down and waste 40 seconds? I don't. Lions have no timeouts. At the worst case scenario, the Lions have the ball back under a minute 20, having to go at least 80 yards if you punt into the end zone with no timeouts and a minute 20. Instead, I don't know if they're going for it on fourth down, but if you are, I just don't understand sometimes what we're doing. I'm sure someone will tell me that it said go in the analytics book. I get it. I just don't like it. Run the clock out, punt the ball deep, and make them you're ahead of me. So
they did go for it. Yeah. Oh my gosh. And he threw off his back foot to Dontavian Wicks, who makes a contested catch, and that's going to ice it. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Wow. Someone's going to get burned in this in a playoff game, and they're going to have to answer for this all offseason. Man. And I'm pro go for it on fourth down, man. That is going to do it. The Packers are going to get the road win outright here over the 3-point favorite Detroit Lions. They'll just kneel this thing out here. So did go for it on 4th and 3 and converted, again, a contested catch by Dontavian Wicks, who had himself a day, 94 yards and a couple touchdowns for him. Now joining us here on the program, kind enough to make some time for us, Todd Lebo, Chiefs reporter for Sports Radio 810 there in Kansas City. Todd, this one is in the books. You have a Green Bay team that went for it on 4th and 3. You get the Jordan Love backpedal pass, and now we move on to your game.
Yeah, one shoe there too for Wicks as well. Lost a shoe on that play. Hey, here's the deal: you're playing with Dan Campbell. You're just going to out fourth down each other, I guess. He probably looked back and should have kicked the field goal the first drive. I don't know. Hey, man, I don't understand any of the analytics in this game anymore. People are taking the ball in overtime instead of deferring and giving people 4 downs. I mean, it's nuts. Someone's got some information I don't have, I guess.
It's in those books, man. They spend all year trying to figure it out. Let's talk about the Chiefs. So obviously I follow that team really well. It's such an odd team this year because on paper, especially offensively, it's just a lot better. It's better all over the place. The numbers show it's better. Why are the results not what the numbers show and how well they should be playing offensively the last couple of weeks?
Well, that's the mystery, right? It doesn't make any sense when you look at the all the little numbers inside, all the kind of production numbers, but they're just not scoring touchdowns enough. That's number one. You got to be good in the red zone. Listen, they won the game last week, but 5 field goals was 5 field goals. They won a bunch of touchdowns. And they're just not getting that part of it done. They're not quite as good on third down as they were last year either. And I think they're still just kind of finding the right mix of the RPO game and, what they call the breather runs when they just hand the ball off. I mean, they've obviously got some injuries as well. I mean, it'd be different if you're handing the ball off to, Jonathan Taylor or something like that. I like Kareem Hunt a lot, but Kareem Hunt's 30 years old, and Isaiah Pacheco is going to be back today. Maybe that'll change things a little bit, but they've just got they got to find a way to get that done, and they're not helping themselves on special teams at all. That's been a problem. They get themselves a little bit of holes here and there on that front, but the offense needs to score touchdowns. Plain and simple, they need to score touchdowns, and this is an important stage for Patrick. He's from White House, Texas, White House High School in Tyler. He's got a house in Dallas. This is the team he grew up watching, so this is a big homecoming thing for him. I expect the best out of him today.
Follow the Money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Talking to Todd Lebo from Sports Radio 810 there in Kansas City. Todd, this Cowboys offense has been really good all season long, and it seems like now that George Pickens has really worked his way in as seems like almost like a 1A, 1B situation there with CeeDee Lamb. I know the Chiefs' defense has played well all season long, but it seems like this Cowboys team is really hitting their stride right now. Do you think this thing has weird, sneaky shootout potential here? Or do you think that this is, the Chiefs maybe slow this thing down a little bit and try to keep that Dallas offense on the sideline?
Yeah, it's going to be tough to do. I mean, the Chiefs have really good cornerbacks for sure. Trent McDuffie's outstanding, but you need 2 or 3 if you're going to play against this Cowboys team. Jalen Watson's done a really nice job. This was a 7th-round draft pick 4 years ago. He's played in some Super Bowls and all that. He's done really well, but this is a tall task. Who's going to, guard CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens? The thing that would make that a lot better is if you got pressure on the quarterback. Well, they don't get pressure on the quarterback with 4 guys. They have to blitz and do things like that. So that'll be up to Steve Spagnuolo and the crew to figure out the right time to blitz and to get there on those blitzes, because they're just not causing pressure with their front. It just hasn't happened this year. Chris Jones looks like he's played really inspired the past couple of weeks. Can't say I've seen that all year long. Listen, the rest of them really do well when Chris is playing hard. But they don't have game wreckers, like Micah Parsons just, made that big sack earlier in this game we were just watching. They don't have that guy right now.
I was asking you about the pass rush because, Chris Jones, he made such a difference in that Colts game in the fourth quarter. He really came alive, and that hasn't been him all season long. On a short week, an older player, can we expect that from him in this game? And, is Karlaftis playing? Is he on the roster? Can we get him to pressure the quarterback for once, you think?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, George he's got a hand issue. He's playing with this, kind of cast thing on, but that doesn't mean you can't get back to the quarterback. I know you want to get your hands on the lineman and work a little bit, but he has not been exactly what they paid for. They gave him a deal this offseason. It's a good point you make, Jeff, with you're talking 30-year-old Kareem Hunt, over 30 Chris Jones, mid-30s Travis Kelce. These guys have got to come back on this short week, and that game against the Colts was an all-out war the whole time, and a lot of guys laid it on the line. The Chiefs had 95 or 96 offensive plays, which is college stuff, right? So these guys were tired out there, and they, Andy knows how to work it. Give them the right amount of time and stuff like that. But it's going to be a battle to see if those guys can come back and be effective, because it's not easy to go play 95, 96 plays of offensive football in the National Football League, then turn around and do it again 4 days later.
Todd, you mentioned Pacheco being back for this game. Do you think that this changes the offense really at all for them? I mean, Pacheco wasn't that efficient when he went down. Is it just maybe a product of the offensive line here that they weren't having success on the ground, not really getting it going? I mean, I know we got Hunt over 100 yards last week, but it was on 30 carries, right? So we're still talking 3.3 yards a carry with all of that. Do you think we see something different today, or probably a lot of the same?
Well, probably some of the same. They hope. I mean, Isaiah Pacheco maybe get a little more, but there's no 60-yard runs out of these guys. Mm-hmm. That's not happening. They're not out of these guys. The fear here is, Trey Smith's not playing at right guard. He hurt his ankle. One of those guys who gutted it out, got back in the game, finished the first half, then couldn't go. Mike Caliendo does a nice job as a backup, but they did not run the ball nearly as well in the second half. So that will be something to watch. Watch that right guard and see if the Cowboys front, which is different than it was a month and a half ago, right? See if those guys can mess that run game up. You know how it is with Andy Reid. He wants to throw, and I don't think they'll be, the split they had last week with Kareem Hunt having 30 carries and, they ended up with 40-some carries with Patrick running and all that stuff. So I wouldn't expect that today. This feels a little bit more like putting it on Patrick's shoulders.
I feel like the internet did bully Andy Reid into running the ball last week, so I appreciate that. Can we bully Dave Tobe into getting the special teams to stop holding players? I am rather shocked at how bad the Chiefs special teams is this season. 3 holdings last game. Has he spoken about this at all? Because it has not been what the Chiefs have been in the past.
Yeah, well, we didn't get Dave this week because it was a short week. We get to talk to him every week, and he's been frustrated. And we have, Anthony Sherman and Garrett Dieter, a couple of special teams guys on our radio station every week, and they're both frustrated watching it. It's technique stuff, right? You have to have that mental clock in your head. You can have contact with the player for just a second, but if you're near the ball, you got to let go. And they've just not done a good job at that this year. And they're not getting anything on the returns. And gosh, Harrison Butker kicked 5 field goals last week, but he also has missed the target twice on kickoffs. You got to get the ball to the 20, and he's missed those a couple of times because these rules are kind of new with these guys. So it has been their internal special teams rankings. Last week he told us the Colts were second in their rankings, and they're 22nd. So they know they're not living up to their standard. But it's not been good enough, and I don't know if he's just picked the wrong guys to be on the team. I can't imagine they're not coaching them hard, right? It all comes down to the players making the plays, but they have not been good, and that can be a factor in this game because the Cowboys can get after it in the return game.
Todd, we got about 30 seconds here. When we're talking about this in 3.5 hours, what is going to be the result?
I was right a couple weeks ago. I picked against the Chiefs at Denver. I picked them at home last week. Something tells me they're going to find a way to win this, and Patrick's going to rise to the occasion down there in his close to his hometown. Give me the Chiefs by 3 or 4, maybe something like that. But I think it's going to be a bunch of points.
He is Todd Lebo. You can find him on Sports Radio 810 there in Kansas City. Appreciate the time and enjoy the game.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
As we sit right now here, Jeff, it is still 3.5 everywhere except out here behind me that is juiced really big time now, minus 125 on the 3. So we're getting Kansas City money at circa 53.5 is our prevailing total. When we come back, we'll give you the final lines here as we get ready for the kick and our last-minute bets and handicap.
This Black Friday, VSiN's hooking you up with our biggest deal of the year. Just $60 for full VSiN Pro access through May 1st. That's 6 months of nonstop action from the heart of the NFL season and college bowl games through the Super Bowl, March Mania, the Masters, and the NBA playoffs. Get every VSiN Pro article, betting tool, AI projection, and expert pick, all for just $60. Don't wait. This offer's only for a limited time. Head to VSiN.com/subscribe and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
Elevate your sports betting game with VSiN's exclusive betting splits. Stay ahead with real-time market trends and track bet percentages on any matchup. Then uncover the edge by comparing them to the amount of bets placed to find out where the sharp money is headed. Upgrade to VSiN Pro to access betting splits, live odds, line moves, power ratings, and in-depth game analysis. Go to VSiN.com/pro to join VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Follow the Money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Appreciate you guys being with us here on Thanksgiving. Of course, all the new ears over on Mad Dog Sports Radio. Appreciate you guys as well, as always, on Sirius Channel 158 every single day of the week. For VSiN, Matt Brown and Jeff Schwartz in for Mitch and Paul as we count down to kickoff here between the Chiefs and the Cowboys. We are 3.5 out there in the market everywhere except for Circa, if you're in the Circa market, but it is a minus 125 juice on the -3. 53.5 is our total. There was a 4.5 here in Vegas, Jeff, that popped up. It only lasted, an hour or so. I took plus 4.5 on Dallas. I do think they can hang from an offensive standpoint, and I might be a little naive in thinking that this defense has gotten better over the course of 3 weeks. I know that, again, I've never played in the NFL. Yeah. I don't know how long it takes for some of these guys to really get going in the offense, feel comfortable, all of that, and getting these guys back from injury, how long it takes to ramp up from that. But just my eyeball test over the last couple of weeks, it does seem like they're playing better. And as long as they can be league average with this high-powered offense, I think they can kind of hang with these teams. And so I took the points. That's not to say necessarily that I think the Cowboys are going to win.
Yeah, it does feel like a close game because the Cowboys offense, every year when Dak is healthy, the offense has been good. I think we forget that because Dak's been hurt in his career. But when he is healthy, the offensive line's mostly always been good. The Cowboys, for as bad as they are doing other things, they hit home runs in the draft on offensive line. Every draft it feels like. They have Lamb, they have Pickens, they have Ferguson, they have good enough running backs. Like, the offense is going to be functional when Dak is healthy. That's always been the case, but we sort of ignore that, I think, because the Cowboys just have a lot of noise. Jerry Jones just creates a lot of noise. Defensively, you mentioned Quinn Williams, overshown. Like, they're getting better defensively. Today will be a good test on how good they are. The question I have about the Chiefs is this. What if they played that 10% better they're not playing right now? Mm-hmm. Like, what if Mahomes just sort of didn't have a couple of the mistakes we're seeing in the middle of a game that just uncharacteristically happens? What if they don't have the special teams holding on the punt return and it's out at the 45 now, not back at the 15? Like, what if 10% of the things go better that's holding them back from being the team that they want to be? They probably win this game by a touchdown or more. But we've had 11 games now where they haven't really done that against any good teams, right?
Right.
Like, even the Colts game, they won that game despite not playing well on offense for 3 quarters, right? The Colts had opportunities to close out that game and didn't do it. So is to that day, I don't know. I lean toward yes. I like the matchup for the Chiefs. I do think Mahomes throws for a lot of yards in this game, considering, we just had, you look at older Kareem Hunt, Pacheco off injury, no Trey Smith. This feels like a passing game for the Chiefs.
Reminder, guys, both teams will be without a starting offensive lineman in this one. The Chiefs without Trey Smith, the Cowboys without Tyler Guyton. So we'll see if that plays any role. Chiefs have had a tough time getting some pressure on the quarterback, so we'll see if maybe that could help out things here. You said Patrick Mahomes might have a big day here in this one, Jeff. The Opta AI that we have over at VSiN.com has him actually over his prop by nearly 30 yards, and so they think that he is also going to have a big day through the air. So against this Dallas defense. Now, again, I'm of the mindset that it's better, but that doesn't mean it's good. So I don't really know what that translates to here in this one. I guess, Jeff, what do you think? Who do you think it favors if the Chiefs play this game kind of like they've had to do all season long, which is these big, long, methodical drives? There's no real splash plays. There's no real explosives. There's no whatever. So your margin for error becomes a little thin because you do these big, long drives, and if you don't get in the end zone, then you settle for a field goal and all of that. Like, do you think that favors the Cowboys if they slow this thing down, or actually keeping the Cowboys off the field is good?
So we call that offense, by the way, a pickleball offense, right? Okay. They're batting it back and forth, pickleball. The problem with the pickleball offense is that what you just mentioned right there is that if you don't turn pickleball drives into 7, you waste a lot of time for 3 points. And your margin of error becomes, now, if you pickleball yourself to 7, great, good job. The more plays you have, though, this is very, very true for college, by the way, more than the NFL. But the more plays you have in a drive, the more chance you have to screw up. How often do we see college drives 8, 10, 12 plays, a penalty, a tackle for loss, a missed assignment, a miscommunication. The more plays you have, again, mostly in college, the worse it is off. That's why explosive play rate, I think, is so important to handicap college teams. But for the Chiefs, the Cowboys, I think, are going to score. The Chiefs don't have a great second corner. It's fine, but not great. They can't rush the passer. They're going to score today. You can't pickleball yourself into playing with the Cowboys, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I think Mahomes has to have a big day offensively for this to work for Kansas City.
Jeff, obviously, you know the offensive line better than anybody here on this network. And so we always talk about whenever a team's missing a tackle. And, of course, the Cowboys are going to be missing Tyler Guyton in their tackle. But we don't seem to talk about the guards as much. And so with Trey Smith out for the Chiefs, how important is that still, even though it's like, again, we talk about the tackles all the time. We don't necessarily talk about the guards as much.
Yeah, Trey Smith is important because of the way they want to run the football and the physicality they want inside. Look, and they're not a run football first team. They were last week. Again, we bullied them. The internet bullied them to run the football under center, especially because it's frustrating because they're efficient in under center rushing. They really are. They're efficient at it. They don't break big runs because their guys they're old. They can't break any tackles. The two of us can break as many tackles as Kareem Hunt's going to break today. But the threat of a 7-8 yard run multiple times a game allows the play action pass to open up. The Chiefs do a little bit backwards where they think they don't have to run the football well to play action pass. You can't do that. But without Trey Smith in there, you're going to feel a little bit different as a run block unit. Now, with one guy out, okay, you can figure out a way to make it work. You slide the center there, you put it back in the A gap. You can, one guy out's fine, 2 or 3 is a problem. Guyton being out for the Cowboys. The Chiefs just don't have an exterior pass rush, right? A defensive end that's going to take advantage of that. I'd be actually more concerned if Booker was out, right? Or one of the inside guys against Chris Jones. But Chris Jones will go out and rush over the tackles, but not often. So that to me is less of a loss than Smith. And also too, Smith is the enforcer of the offensive line. He's the guy they turn to. He's the physical, presence on that group, and him not being there is a loss from just an emotional standpoint. They'll be fine, I think, but they probably won't run the ball as well.
Is there a focus? Can this defense focus on one of the two receivers? Like, how do you try and slow down what Dallas is doing right now with Pickens and with CeeDee Lamb? I mean, we were talking about heading into the season. There was going to be, Higgins and Chase, the best 1-2 punch, and maybe you could add a couple of other ones out there. I think now at this point, we'd probably point to the Cowboys as having the best wide receiver tandem in the league. How do you go about trying to defend that?
Yeah, so a couple of things, right? You can, this is what Bill Belichick did forever, and some teams do now, is you take the number 1 corner, Trent McDuffie, and you put him on the number 2 wide receiver, whoever that is. You can pick and choose Pickens or Lamb, and you double the number 1 guy, right? And you basically say, like, we're going to let Trent McDuffie do his thing. We'll double the other guy, and we'll try to find a way to make it work. It's why I like Jake Ferguson, by the way, for the Cowboys today. I like him over 37.5 receiving yards right now. That middle of the field is where the Chiefs are not as good defensively. Their linebackers can't cover very well. Their safeties aren't as good as in years past to cover. I think Ferguson becomes a big option for the Cowboys as the Chiefs try to shut down those 2 wide receivers out on the edges. And you have to get pressure, right, by blitzing. And then look, if your offense keeps the ball away, that's one way to play defense, right? So keep the ball away from the Cowboys. I think it's a hard task. I think it's a tough task for the Chiefs today. Their defense is good, and they play well this season. They've done a good job. I mean, even against Buffalo, I mean, it was fine. It was a passing effort, but I think the Cowboys will have some success today.
Guys, before the line moves, Sharp Plays is already there. They are powered by Advanced AI. Been around since 2011, delivering documented results, public logs, and transparent receipts. SharpPlays.com, trusted by the pros, watched by the books. Visit SharpPlays.com today and stay ahead of the line. With that loss earlier today, Jeff, we did lose 13 people in Circa Survivor that were on the Lions. So now with the 2 no picks that we got this week, can you imagine you make it all this way and then you don't put in a pick? So 2 no picks and 13 go down. So 15 down here already. And we, of course, the big game this evening as the Ravens, the second most picked team this week. So we will get into that game and preview that one a little bit later. 53.5 our prevailing total here between the Chiefs and the Cowboys. Do we get a shootout, or do you think this thing slows down a little bit?
I'm not saying take the over, but I do think we're going to get points today. I think that's the way this game sort of has to go for both teams. And so I think, look, with the Chiefs, I think we know sort of early in games whether or not it's going to be good. It feels like it's, last week was 20 regulation points. It was pretty tough early on. An early touchdown and some creativity offensively early. You do feel like the Chiefs maintain that momentum throughout the game, minus obviously some turnovers. So I'm really curious to see how the Chiefs start this one out.
Yeah, I'm with you. I can't see Dallas. Well, I'll put it this way. If you like Dallas in this game, you better hope for points, because I can't see this one being a low-scoring, grind-it type of game, and then Dallas being in this thing, right? Like, that seems like it is going right down exactly what the Chiefs want to do in this. So, yeah, I think there's correlation here. If you do like Dallas, you better be hoping for some points as well. But it is going to be 3.5 whenever we go, every market except for Circa. Like I said, if you're in a Circa market, you can find a 3, but it is very juiced at minus 125. 53.5 is going to be our total when we kick this thing off. When we come back, we'll let you know what's going on out there, and of course get into Cincinnati and Baltimore.
VSiN's player prop projection tool is now available for the NBA. Get projections for points, assists, rebounds, and more, powered by Opta AI. On VSiN.com/NBA props, we line up our projections against the latest DraftKings odds, so you can quickly spot mismatches and find value before the market adjusts. The NBA player prop projections tool is available exclusively to VSiN Pro subscribers. Check it out now at VSiN.com/NBA props and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
Check out Stormy and JVT on Money Moves, only on VSiN.
And maybe that's why they wouldn't, because they're the Giants and they don't do things that make sense.
Out of all these divisions, this is the one that I am the most curious about, because I do think there are positive signs for the Bears.
They'll take you on a fun, fast-paced journey, weaving in everything you need to know to make an educated bet, while also not shying away from the excitement of a same-game parlay sweat. Money Moves, weekdays at 2 p.m. Eastern on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Going to be cashing a bunch of tickets early here in this one. If you had Dak Prescott for an interception, you can cash that one as a free runner at him, Jeff, and he tried to get it out, just no chance, picked off, and it did not take the Chiefs long to connect with Rashee Rice, who gets into the end zone, so cash that first touchdown bet there on Rashee Rice as well, and we're extra point pending, 6-0 currently. The kick is up, and it is good. So we are 7-0, 13:04 in the first quarter, Chiefs up on the Cowboys.
Well, that's a good start. I think if you were to drop a start, you would be the Cowboys get the ball and then you score within the first 2 minutes. That's probably a good way to start a game because you get the ball after, obviously at the second half. I find it real. Can I just say about teams that like the Packers do this too? USC does this. Iowa does this in college football. I don't get why you would take the ball to start the game ever.
Yeah.
It never makes sense to me. The middle eight is so important. The middle eight, so the final four of the first half and the next four of the second half. Games swing so much in the middle eight. You score to end the half and you score to start the half. That's a 14-point swing before the other team even gets the ball. I don't get why you'd ever take the ball. Mm-hmm. I know Packers always do it. I get it. USC always does it. Iowa does it. It doesn't make sense. Like the Packers with Matt LaFleur, how smart he is. I don't get the math behind it. It never makes sense to me.
I'm actually glad that you brought this up because that gives me free reign to kind of go into a rant here too about the new overtime and everyone taking the ball in overtime. And I understand the general theory behind it, which is, well, we could put together an 8-minute drive and then when we score, the other team only has 2 minutes and all of that. I get it in very best case scenario, but how many 8-minute drives actually are there in all of that? And so to me, I'm a gambler, been a gambler my whole life, played a ton of poker, whatever. I would prefer to have the information, Jeff. I would prefer to know, do I need 3? Does 6 win it? Do I get all 4 downs? All these different things. I would prefer to have more information. And I don't understand. We saw it twice this past weekend where the teams took the ball in overtime, and including the Colts there in that overtime game that you referenced earlier. And so I just don't really get it. I would always want to have more information. I would always want the use of 4 downs if I needed it.
That's the thing, right? It's the 4 downs, right? Mm-hmm. It's the ability for 4 downs. So here's here Sam Schwartzstein, who I love, works for Amazon Prime, former Stanford offensive lineman, great dude in analytics. He says basically here's this tweet he had. It's at Schwartzstein's OT chart for everyone on decision-making process. Why going first is better because 50% of the chance you get a third possession, but you rarely get a fourth possession. So you're basically saying if you go first, you get a first and third possession, and the other team would only get 1 possession, essentially, I guess. But to your point, you allow yourself 1 extra down to go second.
Right.
Because that means you're going for a 4th down if you need to score a touchdown or kick a field goal. I don't know. I'd go second, but I'm a big oaf who played offensive line. So what do I know? Hey,
listen, I'm an oaf. I didn't play offensive line, but I would listen. I would always take the information. I just think that's so incredibly valuable. After that touchdown, it is 8.5 on the live line now in favor of the Kansas City Chiefs. 58.5 is our total. If you think the Cowboys can win this thing outright again, they've only had the ball for a couple of plays. Plus 290 now out there on the money line, but it is a reminder the Chiefs will get the ball to start the second half here in this one. So kickoff to the Cowboys. They are taking the field, and we'll see what happens here on their second drive. Again, Dak Prescott picked off on his second pass of the game as he had a free running blitzer and very little chance there, Jeff. As we watched the replay, it was it was tough.
Yeah, I'm watching it right now, man. Mm-hmm. This is, obviously it's a hard, you want the replay, but the Chiefs did a great job. They took the back, they ate the back up with the pressure with Nick Boll. They dropped Chris Jones and Leo Chanel into the passing lanes. Because what you want to do when you pressure a lot of times, right? People have heard the term hot, right? Throw hot. Mm-hmm. A lot of the hot throws when you see pressure, if you're a quarterback, is a quick pass, right? So you drop guys into those zones where the quarterback might throw the ball hot, thinking that he thinks it's a hot, throws the ball, right? So they drop someone, 2 guys in the hot area, and they brought the guy who the tight end probably had, but was chipping the right tackle. So it's just a very brilliantly designed scheme by Spags, and ended in a pressure and then interception by the Chiefs and a quick touchdown for them to take the 7-0 lead.
At least if you like the Cowboys, you didn't do a quick 3-and-out back to the Chiefs, so they do convert here on a first down over to Turpin real quick, and so they're at least moving the ball a tad and did not have to punt it directly right back to the other team here. We talked a little bit about the survivor implications of game number 1, in which we lost 13 of the 898 remaining on the Lions. 3 did advance on the Packers, by the way. As far as this game goes, we have 78 entries on the Chiefs. We have 8 entries on the Cowboys. And there might be some people out there who are sitting there going, what do you mean? Why are there people on, why were there people in the Packers? Why were there people on the Cowboys? Why are there people when we talk about the game in a second? There are 10 people on Cincinnati. You have to play. The wrinkle in the contest here at Circa is that the holiday weeks are standalone weeks. So Thanksgiving and Christmas are standalone weeks. You have to play a game on the holiday weeks. Some people didn't plan out perfectly in all of this and so didn't have great teams to play. Jeff, there's one guy out there who has 4 entries still left in this contest, but did not have any of the 4 favorites today. Like he had burned through all 4 of the favorites, so has to play underdogs on all 4 of his entries. Now
that includes tomorrow, correct?
Yes, it includes
tomorrow.
Black Friday. And so did get through. Actually, one of the 4 was on the Packers, and so did get through there playing the underdog in that one. But again, it's just, there's some interesting strategy that you have to kind of think long term as well.
So on Christmas, it's only 1 game on Christmas, right? So, or is there 2 on Christmas?
There's 3 on Christmas.
There's now 3 on Christmas. Yeah. Oh, wow. I just know the Chiefs playing Christmas. That's all So you have to save a team. Wow, save a team for Christmas too. Okay. That's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
I am the worst Survivor player of all time. I don't play the Circa Survivor, but I will join join us, a one on a book. And dude, like week 3, it's like out. Just no chance whatsoever.
Yeah,
I'm so bad at it.
It's an interesting deal. I'm fortunate enough to still be alive in this one, but I don't have any real sweats today, other than the fact I guess maybe anti-sweating the Ravens. I'm on the Eagles tomorrow, but yeah, out on Christmas there's Cowboys, Commanders, Lions, Vikings, and then Broncos, Chiefs. So there's 3 games. You have to play a team from one of those 3 games. So you got 6 to choose from, and of course 78, should they make it that far, have used the Chiefs today. Several used the Lions already as well. So there's going to be either some underdogs being played or some Cowboys and Commanders, basically.
Okay. So it's and even playing like the Grandissimo, the heart palpitation I'd have for that every week would not be good.
None on the first game or the second game. So we have 3 on the Ravens in Grandissimo and 3 on the Eagles. So we will be waiting for the evening game, and then we will be waiting on Monday over in Grandissimo. But just 6 entries left. So somebody is an upset or 2 away from $6.9 million being handed to them in a big check form. So good on them. Like you said, man, listen, that would be fun. That would certainly be fun.
If it wasn't your money, I think.
getting in on getting in that thing in the first place. I know the $100K buy-in. There's a little bit of that's the barrier to entry for me. As the Cowboys have moved across midfield, and I will tell you, Dak almost threw another pick, but didn't get picked. Fortunately, so they will face
Nick Bolton can't catch, so that's not going to catch.
Yeah, they will face a 3rd and 9.
Nick Bolton gets a lot of grief. He's pretty good. I don't know why Chiefs fans give him a lot of grief. He does his job is to get the defense in the right position and to stop the run. He does those things really, really well. So I don't know why Chiefs fans seem to not like him for some reason. He's really good at what he's asked to do.
CeeDee Lamb kind of played cornerback there on that one, and then also even finished it with kind of like a kick to the stomach. So it was really good. He was in the air and just kind of like whipped his right leg around. So he did a double take, and they do convert there on the 3rd down. So Cowboys driving.
Yeah, they're running a lot of sim pressures now. They got a Menahue trying to be in like guard CeeDee Lamb. I don't think that's really the ideal situation to have your old 30-year-old defensive lineman off an ACL in the flat against CeeDee Lamb. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
crazy.
I think that probably is not going to work out too well for you. Often. CeeDee Lamb, a couple catches here early for the Cowboys, so we'll see if there's any adjustments made on how they cover him or what's going on. Maybe that's just what the Cowboys decided to come out and do here in this one. Make him the number 1 as opposed to where Pickens was the number 1 last week. Again, do appreciate you guys being with us here on Thanksgiving, especially the new ears over on Mad Dog Sports Radio. We've got a special. If you have not been over to VSiN.com, you can get every single thing that we do for $60 now until May the 1st. So take advantage of that offer. Honestly, if you're even somewhat interested in being a more serious bettor, every single sport is being broken down on a daily basis. Trust me, it's hard to keep up with the day-to-day of the NBA, the day-to-day of college basketball, all of that. So let us help you out with all of that over at VSiN.com.